Happy day, everybody. It's so good to take a moment to see everybody. And I just really wanted to take a quick moment. I have on the line here with me our regional vice president and a very good friend of mine, Ledlie. And Chris, thanks for taking the time because, we're living in perilous times, right? How many of us have seen times like this in our lifetime?
Yeah.
It's very different. And the reason why I wanted to bring Chris involved. Chris, what's your footprint in terms of offices and employees that you support here at Caliber?
Yeah. Thanks for having me on, Tim. And I appreciate what you're doing to kind of get the word out. There's so much confusion and bad information, whether it's the media or people that are misinformed spreading. And so I think, really doing your part to get accurate information is important. But, our team, our footprint really is through California, Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico, and Hawaii for our team where we have offices.
All right. Now, friends, this is super important too, because, what we're going to talk about is just because Chris has such a wide footprint, we're dealing with a lot of neighborhoods, right? I mean, that's really what we're dealing with. We're dealing with neighbors that talk to one another. We have employees that are concerned or about like jobs. How do we work? How do we do that going forward? So, first of all, let me just say this. The most important thing, friends, is continue to be safe. And I know these are challenging times. Now, I'm going to kind of paraphrase this, and I'm going to use the wrong quote here, or it's not going to be exact, but my father told me about a quote and it had to do with a movie, and it had to deal with challenging times. And the quote kind of goes like this. He said, "There are no great men. There are only ordinary men and women like you and I that in the face of challenging circumstances, rise to meet those challenging circumstances." And these are challenging circumstances. So we may think, you know what? I'm not a great person. I'm just the ordinary average Joe. That's exactly what we need. It's people just like you folks that are going to rise to these circumstances and keep everybody calm. That's what we need. Help your neighbors. Send them a text, give them a post-it, keep the social distance because we're adhering to, good guidance, but support each other and be careful out there. Okay. That is a big piece. Okay. But now let's kind of talk about the mortgage market a little bit. And friends, you need to see this. So what I'm going to do right now, and I'm going to have Chris kind of talk about it because it'll help you to visualize what's happening in the mortgage world. Okay. So give me just a quick second. I'm going to share my screen here and I'm going to show the mortgage-backed securities. Give me just a quick second here. All right. So what we see on the screen here is just a trajectory down here from like January of this year all the way to about March 9th. Now, Chris, you and I talk about this a lot. We can see kind of the moves here in the mortgage-backed securities market. Now, even though it looks like these moves are not that big, I mean, these are a kind of above average, aren't they? Aren't they a little bit more emotional than normal?
They are, yeah. For people that, aren't familiar with looking at a chart like this, you can tell how big the movement was in a given day by the size of the bar, right? A green bar is a favorable movement, meaning rates should move better for the day, and a red bar is a negative movement, meaning rates should move up theoretically. And so when you look at it, the bigger the bar, the more movement or volatility there was in a given day.
All right. So we see that, pretty much, rates have been improving over the last, several months, and we kind of see that, but still some pretty serious moves. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm now going to slide the bar from March 9th onward, and this is going to help visualize what's happening. Let me do that. All right, Chris, help us understand here. So without getting too granular, what is this telling us about just the emotion of the market right now?
Yeah, so I think everybody's kind of had some taste of this, right? We've seen the Dow Jones and the extreme volatility, the drop over 30% in the Dow, right? So a lot of people can relate and follow that. But, mortgage-backed securities here, which is what closely tracks what our rates are going to do that we are able to deliver to our clients. You can see just how volatile each given day was. And, you see the trend where rates go up, 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 and then back the other way, they go down, down. And so it's really, really hard for a lender to pick and move pricing to meet those kind of demands of where it is in a day. But
Uh,
here's what also adds to that. You've got the media putting out 0% interest rates, right?
oh,
Fed
I've heard
funds is
that.
0%. Yep. So our phones start ringing off the hook with everybody wanting a 0% interest rate. Even though that's not the reality of where mortgage rates are, there is some correlation to it. And we're in a very, very favorable interest rate. And so what you have happen here is a huge surge of volume that comes in to an industry as a whole that has a capacity, a certain capacity that they can handle. And we far exceeded what that capacity is. So kind of the old supply and demand, which most of us are familiar with, that is also added to the volatility that there's concern around, is there enough liquidity in the secondary market? Is there going to be the demand to purchase? So yes, we have got some relief. And I think people have
Yep.
heard through the stimulus package with, the Fed stepping in back security. So we will see relief on that, but there is still extreme volatility right now, which again, it makes it very, very difficult for a lender to be able to drill down and nail a certain price point for a day. But this isn't forever. This is the environment that we're in right now that's been fueled by, panic over the coronavirus. How long will it last? What's the overall impact that it's going to have on the economy? And so, one of the things that we keep reminding, our partners and our clients is, just be patient. Make sure you've got a trusted mortgage advisor that you work with that can help guide you through this and handhold you through it, because we will get to a more normal level. There might be opportunities throughout this, but the thing just to remember is that, we're in a temporary cycle right now due to some of the environment that we're in that will pass.
Yeah. That's excellent guidance. Let me go ahead and stop the screen share here so we can kind of chat back. So that's, and we kind of want to leave you on that. So overall, so now we can visualize just how difficult the market has been. And we can just imagine what it's like for not just people in the mortgage industry, but all over in the finance world. I mean, if we're experiencing this, other people are experiencing it too, which is even more so as the Feds step in to try to calm the market. So patience, and especially for those who want to get involved, because we know rates will continue to be volatile, but over time, good guidance, Chris, be patient. So overall, just let's leave everybody with just kind of a final thought, shall we? As professionals in the field, whether we're in the finance, whether in real estate, what's a takeaway for us, Chris? What kind of guidance would you like to give all of us as we kind of navigate these times?
Yeah, Tim, I really like the way that you opened it up, and talking about, hey, we're all in this together. We've all been pushed into an environment that's outside of our comfort zone, right? A lot of us are used to social interaction on a daily basis. And so just
Right.
being mindful that, there is some real fear and anxiety and panic that's being created. And the better we can do around supporting one another, getting good be good for us at all. So find those trusted people out there, but also be a leader in your community. Tim, to your point, wrap your arms around people, send a text, let people know you're thinking about them, right? Like together, we will get through this and pull out on the other side stronger than we were before.
Chris, I'm totally with you, because, and then that's one of the things I'll just have to say that, I appreciate about the people that I work with, even more so, more important than profit is people. And when it comes right down to it, that's what we care about. We want you all to be safe, do what you can to support each other. And we're patient in the finance world, be patient in our day in our daily life too. I'm talking to people on our condominium team, and it was so eye-opening, because she's in Queens and they're putting a testing center right below her house, and she knows it's important, but it's a scary time, and people have different, their consciences vary. So and they'll say things that they normally wouldn't say. So be calm with one another. And Chris, I'm with you. Let's take care of one another and we'll get through it. Okay. Chris Ledlie, thanks for taking the time. I really appreciate it. Please give my love and my greetings to your family. Okay.
Yeah, thanks so much for what you're doing, Tim. Appreciate you having me on today.
My pleasure. Take care.